Hi guys, this is Julia here from Julia Isabel Art, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to paint a fall leaf, well specifically the veins of a fall leaf with a liner brush. A liner brush is also called a rigger brush, and it has the same structure as a round brush. So it's round, but the bristles, like the actual brush part, are a lot longer, as you could see in that picture I had at the beginning of the video of just those two brushes. And they come in different sizes. I have also like a bigger one, like a size 6. And then those were size 4 and 2. They are the Princeton Heritage line. Those are the ones I use, but they are all different brands and kinds, so don't worry if you don't have the same exact ones. And the way I am going to be lifting the veins to get them soft, like to get a soft effect, is by lifting up the paint. Now, lifting up the paint is just when you already have the paper down and you go in with a clean brush with a little bit of water and you put the water down and then you kind of wipe it with a clean brush. So you like clean off your brush and dry it and then you wipe it up. But in this case, you want the paint to be drying, like halfway-ish dry. And it depends on the climate. It depends on, your paint. As you can see, I am doing that right now. I'm kind of wiping it, and you can see it does make, like, it lifts the paint. So there is a vein in that center now. And it's important to know that different pigments lift more or less. So it's important to know your paint. I know a lot of paint brands will say on their website or their catalogs whether or not a specific color or pigment is staining, and if it is staining, that means it doesn't lift as easily. So that is something to keep in mind when you are doing stuff like this. You can always, it also depends on your paper. Some papers are easier to lift on than others. You can always kind of test it out on like a scrap piece of paper, which I actually recommend so that you kind of know what you're getting into. And I am doing multiple layers. I'll be doing 3, I think. We'll see. But if your paper is wood pulp or even a cotton paper that lifts more easily, you might just want to stick to 1 or 2. But it totally depends on your supplies as well. So even if you are doing multiple layers, start lifting on the first one, because if you wait till the second or third, it will be harder to lift. You want to have that kind of base layer of lifting. And you can theoretically do this when it's dry. It just, at least in my experience, is harder. But you can try whatever you want, and depending on the supplies you're using and your brushes and stuff, it may work, it may not. It just depends. And another way you can paint leaves, the veins of leaves like this, is with a masking fluid. You can do 1 layer. Like, masking fluid also works if you say you do 1 layer of paint and you put it over the paint, and then when it dries you take it off like you do with masking fluid. It does work. It doesn't lift that paint underneath. It does not lift that first layer of paint. So you can always do that first layer, put thin lines of masking fluid, wait for it to dry, put that second layer of paint over the masking fluid. Then when that dries, you take that masking fluid off, and then you have veins. So that has like a harder effect. It has hard edges, whereas this, like you see now, is a very soft effect. So it just really depends on what you're going for or what's easier for you, and just what you prefer. So I'm doing the same thing. It can be kind of finicky. The timing, you don't want it to be super wet. Maybe wait a couple minutes. While it's like, it has to be like half-ish dry, but again, it depends on your supplies and your climate. So maybe just practice this and test it out. You can see that I'm doing the second layer. I'm doing the same exact thing every layer, and then it's important to wait for the layers to completely dry. You don't want to lift that paint too much. when you put another layer of water. So I will be doing a second layer or a third layer to really get that color and those values in there. And yeah, I'll just do the same thing. As you guys saw the result at the end. It's very soft, like I said. Rigger brushes, or they're called rigger brushes or liner brushes. It really just depends. They're super helpful for stuff like this in landscapes. They're great for painting foliage, grass. They're even good for like painting kind of whiskers or animal hair or fur. I use them a lot. You don't need them, right? It's not like you don't need them in the same way you need just a regular round brush, but kind of if you get more into landscapes and stuff like this, I really do recommend them, if you're more serious about that kind of stuff. I didn't start using them until like a couple years really into my watercolor journey, shall we say, and I'm really glad I have them now. I find them incredibly useful. So that's it, guys. I hope you learned something and enjoyed the video. And I will see you in my next video on Friday. Thanks. Bye.